Today, we're diving deep into the historical events that have shaped modern Japan. From revolutionary transformations to devastating disasters, Japan's history is rich and complex. We'll explore 10 key events, each playing a crucial role in molding the nation into what it is today. So, let's embark on this journey through time and understand how these moments influenced the course of Japanese history. Meiji Restoration. The Meiji Restoration of 1868 marked the end of over 2 centuries of feudal rule under the Tokugawa shogunate and the beginning of a new era of modernization and industrialization in Japan. This period saw the emperor restored to power and the country embarking on a rapid transformation, shedding its isolationist policies to embrace Western technologies and ideologies. Japan's leaders during the Meiji era realized the importance of adopting Western innovations to avoid colonization by foreign powers. They sent emissaries abroad to study Western institutions, technology, and culture, bringing back valuable knowledge that would lay the foundation for Japan's modernization. This included the establishment of a modern education system, the construction of a comprehensive railway network, and the creation of a modern military. One of the key reforms was the abolition of the feudal class system, which allowed for greater social mobility and a more meritocratic society. Land reforms also played a significant role, transforming the agrarian economy and increasing agricultural productivity. These changes provided the necessary resources and workforce for the burgeoning industrial sector. The Meiji Restoration also marked the beginning of Japan's imperial ambitions. The newly modernized military was put to use in expanding Japan's influence, leading to conflicts such as the Sino-Japanese War and the Russo-Japanese War, which further cemented Japan's position as a rising power in Asia. The cultural impact of the Meiji Restoration was equally profound. Traditional customs and practices were re-evaluated, leading to a blend of Eastern and Western influences that still characterizes Japanese society today. The Restoration not only transformed the political and economic landscape, but also initiated a cultural renaissance, as Japan sought to define its identity in the modern world. Sino-Japanese War. The Sino-Japanese War 1894 to 1895 was a significant conflict that marked Japan's emergence as a major regional power. The war was fought between the Qing dynasty of China and the Empire of Japan, primarily over control of Korea. The rapid and decisive victory of Japan over China demonstrated the effectiveness of its modernization efforts since the Meiji Restoration. Japan's victory in the Sino-Japanese War had far-reaching consequences. The Treaty of Shimonoseki, which ended the war, forced China to recognize the independence of Korea and cede Taiwan, the Pescadores Islands, and the Liaodong Peninsula to Japan. This not only expanded Japan's territorial holdings, but also marked its entry into the ranks of imperial powers. The war also had a profound impact on China's internal politics, contributing to the weakening of the Qing dynasty and the rise of revolutionary movements. For Japan, the victory bolstered national pride and provided a model for further imperial ambitions. The war showcased the effectiveness of Japan's new military and industrial capabilities, setting the stage for future conflicts and expansions. Furthermore, the war had significant economic implications. The indemnities paid by China to Japan were used to further industrialize and modernize Japan's economy, fueling its growth in the early 20th century. This period saw increased investment in infrastructure, industry, and technology, laying the groundwork for Japan's future economic successes. Russo-Japanese War. The Russo-Japanese War 1904 to 1905 was another pivotal moment in Japanese history, highlighting Japan's growing military prowess and its emergence as a formidable global power. The conflict arose from rival ambitions of the Russian Empire and Japan over territories in Manchuria and Korea. The war is particularly notable for being the first time an Asian power defeated a European power in modern warfare. The Japanese victory in battles such as the Battle of Tsushima demonstrated the effectiveness and strategic acumen of the Japanese military. The Treaty of Portsmouth, which ended the war, awarded Japan significant territories and marked the decline of Russian influence in East Asia. The aftermath of the war had significant implications for international relations. Japan's victory challenged the prevailing racial hierarchies of the time and inspired other Asian nations under colonial rule. It also led to an increased sense of nationalism and militarism within Japan, which would have lasting effects on its domestic and foreign policies. Economically, the war strained Japan's resources but ultimately validated its rapid industrialization and military expansion. The prestige gained from the victory boosted Japan's confidence and ambition, paving the way for further territorial expansions and setting the stage for its involvement in World War II. World War II. World War II was a catastrophic event that left an indelible mark on Japan. Japan's involvement in the war began with its invasion of Manchuria in 1931 and escalated with its alliance with Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy, leading to the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941. This aggressive expansionist policy was driven by a desire for natural resources and territorial control. The war had devastating consequences for Japan. The atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki by the United States in 1945 brought the conflict to a brutal end, leading to Japan's unconditional surrender. The devastation caused by the bombings, coupled with the widespread destruction from conventional bombings, left Japan in ruins, both physically and economically. The post-war period was marked by significant changes under the Allied occupation led by the United States. The occupation authorities implemented a series of reforms aimed at demilitarizing and democratizing Japan. These included the adoption of a new pacifist constitution, land reforms, and the dissolution of large business conglomerates known as zaibatsu. The experience of World War II profoundly shaped Japan's post-war identity and policies. The horrors of war and the nuclear bombings instilled a deep-seated pacifism in the Japanese populace, which was reflected in the country's post-war constitution renouncing the use of military force. This period also saw Japan's transformation from an imperial power to a peaceful, democratic nation committed to economic development and international cooperation. Post-war economic miracle. Following the devastation of World War II, Japan embarked on a remarkable journey of economic recovery and growth, known as the post-war economic miracle. From the 1950s to the 1970s, Japan experienced rapid industrialization and became one of the world's largest economies. Several factors contributed to this economic miracle. The government played a crucial role by implementing policies that promoted industrial growth and technological innovation. The Ministry of International Trade and Industry guided economic policy, fostering the development of key industries such as automobiles, electronics, and steel. Japan also benefited from the global economic environment of the post-war era. The Korean War provided a significant boost to Japan's economy through increased demand for goods and services. Additionally, Japan's favorable trade policies and export-oriented strategy helped it capture international markets. The economic growth was supported by a strong work ethic, high savings rates, and investment in education and infrastructure. Japanese companies adopted practices such as lifetime employment and quality control circles, which enhanced productivity and fostered innovation. The collaboration between the government and private sector created a conducive environment for economic development. However, the economic miracle was not without challenges. By the 1980s, Japan faced issues such as trade imbalances and rising asset prices, leading to the eventual burst of the Japanese asset price bubble in the early 1990s. Despite these challenges, the period of rapid economic growth fundamentally transformed Japan into a modern, industrialized nation. 1964 Tokyo Olympics. The 1964 Tokyo Olympics was a landmark event that symbolized Japan's recovery and re-emergence on the world stage following World War II. Hosting the Olympics was an opportunity for Japan to showcase its post-war reconstruction and modernization efforts. The preparations for the Olympics spurred significant infrastructure development, including the construction of highways, sports facilities, and the iconic Shinkansen bullet train. These projects not only facilitated the smooth running of the Games, but also contributed to long-term economic growth and urban development in Tokyo and other parts of Japan. The Games themselves were a resounding success, with Japan winning an impressive 16 gold medals and finishing third in the overall medal tally. The event was broadcast internationally, helping to change the global perception of Japan from a war-torn nation to a prosperous and technologically advanced country. The 1964 Tokyo Olympics also had a lasting cultural impact. It fostered a sense of national pride and unity, as well as an appreciation for sports and physical fitness. The success of the Games demonstrated Japan's ability to organize and host a major international event, setting a precedent for future international engagements. The legacy of the 1964 Tokyo Olympics is evident in the continued importance of sports and international cooperation in Japan. It also paved the way for Japan to host the Olympics again in 2020, further solidifying its status as a global leader in sports and innovation. Japanese asset price bubble. The Japanese asset price bubble of the late 1980s and early 1990s was a period characterized by rapidly rising land and stock prices, driven by speculative investments and loose monetary policies. The bubble's burst in the early 1990s led to a prolonged period of economic stagnation known as the Lost Decade. The origins of the bubble can be traced back to Japan's rapid economic growth in the 1970 to 1990, which created a favorable environment for speculative investments. Low interest rates and easy credit encouraged excessive borrowing and investment in real estate and stocks. As asset prices soared, a speculative frenzy took hold, with investors expecting continuous price increases. The bubble burst in the early 1990s when the Bank of Japan tightened monetary policy to curb inflation and speculation. This led to a sharp decline in asset prices, resulting in massive losses for investors and financial institutions. The collapse of the bubble had far-reaching consequences, including a banking crisis and a severe economic downturn. The aftermath of the bubble burst was a period of economic stagnation marked by deflation, high levels of non-performing loans, and slow economic growth. The government and central bank implemented various measures to stimulate the economy, including fiscal stimulus packages and monetary easing. However, these efforts were often met with limited success. The Japanese asset price bubble highlighted the risks of speculative investment and the importance of sound economic policies. It also had lasting effects on Japan's financial system and economic policies, leading to a greater emphasis on financial stability and regulatory oversight. Great Hanshin Earthquake. The Great Hanshin Earthquake, also known as the Kobe Earthquake, struck the Kobe region of Japan on January 17, 1995. The earthquake had a magnitude of 6.9 and caused widespread devastation, resulting in over 6,000 deaths and leaving tens of thousands injured or homeless. The earthquake highlighted vulnerabilities in Japan's infrastructure and emergency response systems. Many buildings and highways, constructed before modern seismic standards, were severely damaged or collapsed. The disruption to transportation and communication networks hampered rescue and relief efforts, exacerbating the impact of the disaster. In the aftermath of the earthquake, there was a significant focus on rebuilding and improving disaster preparedness. The government implemented stricter building codes and invested in earthquake-resistant infrastructure. There was also an emphasis on community-based disaster preparedness and education, ensuring that residents were better equipped to respond to future emergencies. The Great Hanshin earthquake had a profound impact on Japan's approach to disaster management and urban planning. It led to the development of more resilient infrastructure and enhanced coordination between government agencies, emergency services, and communities. The lessons learned from the earthquake have been applied to subsequent disasters, helping to mitigate their impact and improve recovery efforts. Fukushima nuclear disaster. The Fukushima nuclear disaster of 2011 was one of the most significant and catastrophic events in Japan's recent history. Triggered by a massive earthquake and tsunami on March 11, 2011, the disaster resulted in a meltdown at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, leading to widespread radioactive contamination and the evacuation of tens of thousands of residents. The disaster exposed serious flaws in Japan's nuclear safety regulations and crisis management protocols. The failure of multiple safety systems and the inadequate response to the crisis highlighted the need for comprehensive reforms in the nuclear industry. The government and nuclear industry faced intense scrutiny and criticism for their handling of the disaster. In the aftermath of the Fukushima disaster, Japan undertook significant measures to improve nuclear safety and energy policy. The government established an independent regulatory agency, the Nuclear Regulation Authority, to oversee nuclear safety and enforce stricter standards. There was also a shift towards renewable energy sources and a reduction in the reliance on nuclear power. The Fukushima disaster had far-reaching social, economic, and environmental impacts. It led to widespread public opposition to nuclear energy and a reevaluation of Japan's energy policies. The disaster also had a profound impact on the affected communities, many of whom continue to face challenges related to radiation exposure, displacement, and recovery. Japan's aging population. Japan's aging population is one of the most pressing demographic challenges facing the country today. With one of the highest life expectancies in the world and a declining birth rate, Japan's population is aging rapidly, leading to significant social, economic, and healthcare implications. The aging population has led to a shrinking workforce, putting pressure on the economy and social security systems. There is a growing demand for healthcare and elder care services, which has resulted in increased government spending and a need for more healthcare professionals and facilities. To address the challenges posed by an aging population, Japan has implemented various policies and initiatives. These include promoting higher birth rates through family-friendly policies, encouraging older individuals to remain in the workforce, and investing in automation and robotics to compensate for labor shortages. The aging population also presents opportunities for innovation and growth. Japan is a global leader in the development of technologies and services for the elderly, including advanced medical devices, assistive robots, and smart home systems. These innovations have the potential to improve the quality of life for older individuals and create new economic opportunities. The issue of Japan's aging population underscores the need for comprehensive and adaptive policies to address demographic challenges. It also highlights the importance of fostering a society that values and supports its elderly population, ensuring that they can live healthy, active, and fulfilling lives. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the historical events that have shaped modern Japan. From the Meiji Restoration to the challenges of an aging population, each event has played a crucial role in shaping the nation's identity and development. We hope you found this exploration insightful and informative. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth discussions on history and current events. Your support helps us bring you more quality content. Until next time, thank you for listening.